Good afternoon. It's Thursday, May 25th. I'm Jim Sinicropi, and this is Finger Lakes Today. I'm joined in studio today by Tess MacQueen. She's the Director of Operations at Pine Point Medical in Lansing and sees patients for primary care and aesthetics. Thanks for making the drive from Lansing, and welcome to the studio.
Great. Thanks for having me.
Nice day for a drive, right?
Perfect drive up the lake.
So, a little background on your practice. It opened in 2020 and provides general practitioner plus the aesthetic services. So just a little background about what makes you unique and why you exist and why you got started in Lansing.
Sure. So the practice is co-owned by myself and my husband. I'm a board certified physician assistant and he's a physician. We started our practice in 2020. Seeing patients in 2020, all the background stuff was done in 2019, just as COVID was ramping up there. And so we started a primary care practice really with the intention of providing a small, local healthcare entity that could focus on good patient care.
And it's another thing kind of sets you apart is you're not tied in with a giant healthcare system. You've wanted to create a smaller practice, and that was by choice.
That's correct. Yeah, we're not an out-of-state entity. We're not a huge health system by design. We're a small practice. We have 3 providers, myself being one of them. I'm a board-certified physician assistant. He's an internist, and we also have a nurse practitioner that works with us. And what we're looking to do is help patients with their specific health goals. And so that can be losing weight, that can be getting blood pressure under control, that's annual physical exams, cancer screenings, all that stuff. We wanted to create a almost home-like environment for people to feel comfortable, get to know their provider, and work on their goals. So
obviously, some of the benefits of a smaller office and the personalized care, knowing the people when you call, are benefits. What are the other benefits you're able to offer patients being a smaller office?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you alluded to knowing, patients as they walk in. It's common, I'll be walking in the hallway and I see someone walk in and immediately I know them by first name.
Right.
I know their spouse, I know their mother-in-law, I know all of that. And that was part of the reason we wanted a small practice. It feels like family, really.
Yeah, which is unique nowadays. And I think a lot of people are frustrated with healthcare system and feeling like a number and not a name. And when it comes to your health, you do want to feel like you're well known and almost in an intimate level. So
you do, absolutely. You want to feel like someone cares about you. You want to feel like you can walk in there and be heard. And my husband and I were not new to medicine. We've been practicing in the Ithaca area for 10, 12 years now. And our practice was really born out of the desire to really take care of people. We saw the need in Lansing. There wasn't primary care in the area. We wanted to provide a service, and we saw that it was definitely a need in the area.
Yeah, so now, I mentioned frustrations with the healthcare system. I think one of the biggest things I've heard over recent years, and especially during COVID, and even now, after COVID, is like when you need to go to the emergency room or urgent care for something. Very, very frustrating. I know a lot of people that have gone, multiple times and can't seem to, get their problem solved. Are your patients able to call you on an urgent care basis?
Absolutely. That's one of the other perks of being such a small office. There are not any phone trees to get through. When you call, you can generally, you speak to the same receptionist the same time over and over again, and that's by design. You want to know the front desk person. You want to know the nurse so that when you're having a problem, you can call up and say, hey, Gabby, I really need to get in. And she might say, well, there's no availability, but let me talk to Tess for a second. Put you on hold, and almost never would I ever say, couldn't get someone in.
Right.
And if maybe it's not with me, but maybe the nurse practitioner can see you that day, or
Right.
something like that. And
Better result than what happens a lot of times. They say, "Oh, we can see you, 3 weeks from now, or sometimes 3 months from now."
that doesn't work.
Right.
That doesn't work. And in fact, say one of our patients does end up in the emergency room or have some sort of other urgent issue, another benefit for being a small practice is we really have it a priority to see that person back in the office within a day or two. So you're not stranded. You're not, if you do have an event, we're really good about the follow-up.
And talk a little bit about your husband, Dr. McQueen. What's his bedside manner, or or his history?
Yep, yep. So my husband, Dr. McQueen, is board certified in two things. One is internal medicine, which is adult primary care. He's also fellowship trained in infectious diseases, which came on the radar pretty hard with COVID.
Sure.
Yep. So we really have a blend of specialties in our office, which I think is fantastic for our patients because people get infected with things, right? And we have a fellowship trained expert right there, so to ask questions for. He's kind of in the background of a lot of the care that happens in our office, because even if a patient doesn't see him and say they see me, it doesn't mean over breakfast I'm not going to ask him,
Sure.
a question about it, or collaborate on the care. So that's a perk for having a husband and wife team there also.
Okay, so we talked about a lot about the practice, but we didn't get to something that to me was one of the most intriguing parts about your business, and that's aesthetics. So a lot of people with their general practitioner, they don't have that option. So that's kind of a whole nother side that's also tied in to something you can offer your existing patients. So why don't you just give us an overview of like what that means for your practice when we talk about aesthetics?
Sure. Happy to. That's one of my favorite parts. So as I mentioned, so I'm board certified in primary care, and that's the bulk of what I do. But then I went on after getting certified in that, and I did a fellowship in dermatology and aesthetics. So I have a lot of additional training in disorders of the skin and that kind of thing, but also the kind of stuff that just helps you feel better about how you look.
Right.
And that's one of my favorite things to do during the day, because I think that a lot of mental health can be tied to feeling good about yourself and
Sure.
how you look at the world and how you think the world perceives you. And so I really enjoy helping people, not just patients, but people, feel good about how they look.
So what are some of those treatments or services that people might be looking for that you're able to provide?
Sure. So one of the probably most well-known aesthetic services would be something like, I would say, anti-wrinkle injections like Botox, or would be a brand name, that everybody can kind of relate with. So those are injections that we do right in the office that helps people with wrinkles, kind of iron them out, smooth them out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Other things that I do on a daily basis would be these things called rejuvenating skin peels, where we put some, kind of a product on the face, and it helps rejuvenate the skin, make it a little bit tighter, makes it look a little bit younger. And then there are those brown age spots that
Yeah.
nobody likes.
I know. I'm starting to get them now too.
I know. So we make those go away also.
So in my experience, that's something extremely unique. Usually you go to a specialist or someone that only focuses on cosmetic and aesthetics but can't provide like the full package. Do your patients see benefits in being like a one-stop shop?
Yeah, I think they love it, honestly. And what typically happens is someone starts out as my primary care patient, and they know me, they trust me, that kind of thing, and then it's like, oh, you can also do these injections or aesthetics and that kind of thing. We have a different appointment and go through all that. So I do think patients really like it because they don't have to leave. They don't have to be referred out. They don't have to go to people they don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely a benefit. So, what does, let's say somebody's watching and they're like, oh, sounds good to me, I'd like to get started. What's the process? How do they connect with you? And then kind of what's the onboarding process
Yeah.
for a new patient?
It's easy, really. So, for an aesthetic appointment, you would just call the front desk and say, yep, I want to get on Tess's aesthetic schedule. Easy. For primary care, you can go on our website. And here's another really good aspect, I think, for our business, which is you can schedule your own appointment from our website. So you don't have to call 4 times and talk to
Right.
someone on the phone. They didn't call me back. All of that phone tag is gone. You press the button, you look at the schedule, and you say, "Yep, there's an opening Tuesday at 3," and there it is.
And you're done.
Yep.
Okay. So if you have been, for whatever reason, looking to change doctors, how, like with insurance and everything, how is that all handled?
Yeah. So typically what we'll do, so say someone went online and they said, okay, I'm going to pick that Tuesday appointment. From all that, they get a series of text messages that say, upload your insurance card.
Okay.
Here are some questions. And then prior to the appointment, our front desks make sure that the insurance is eligible and everything kind of is going to work out. So that there are no surprises, no surprise bills
Yeah.
or anything like that should happen.
Okay. Well, we're getting into the summer season. Sure is sunny today, and the forecast looks good. Any advice you got for everybody that's looking to get outside now from the aesthetic side of things?
Absolutely. From an aesthetic point of view and a primary care skin cancer
Yeah.
prevention point of view, sun protection is the biggest counseling and most important thing. I think I say it in my sleep at this point because I must say it so much. It's easy in April and May to get that first sunburn because we're just not quite used to
Yeah,
the sun.
If I already had it.
But a hat or sunscreen, your sunscreen moisturizer before you leave the house, that's the secret.
All right. Well, thanks for coming up from Lansing to our studio here in Seneca Falls, and congratulations on the success of Pine Point Medical. And again, how can people connect with you? What's your website address? Like, what's the best way?
Absolutely. So hop online. Our website is www.pinepointmed.com or pick up the phone, 607-533-0281.
All right. Well, thanks, Tess. I appreciate the conversation and everything you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. Once again, Pine Point Medical. You can connect online at pinepointmed.com. Stay connected to fingerlakes1.com all weekend long for the latest local breaking news, weather, and sports. Until then, have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend here in the Finger Lakes.
That'll do it for this edition of Finger Lakes Today. If you'd like to see more conversations like this one, check out the show on your favorite podcast platform or subscribe to the fingerlakes1.com YouTube channel. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.